All right. Very good evening to all of you. And welcome to Digitech Zeal. This is Python programming section. Okay, so I want to start by apologizing, to us. I know that last time we had I think it was network issue. I was not able to hear us, and that led to the early closure of that class. Why I did not send us the video, because I know that class should be repeated. I'm not sure that we actually explained in detail or we went far with the planned topics. Okay, so it will be assumed that we are to proceed from the last, I think from the second advanced data structure. Don't forget that we have started the journey of advanced data structure in Python. Part of it is what we have on the screen. Started the journey from advanced data structure, where I told us that these are data types which are also built because they all have their constructors within the language. These are data types that are programmed to hold multiple values, unlike the variable that is programmed to hold only one, or to store only one value in its storage allocation. So we started looking at lists. We describe lists as one of the Python multiple data structure. In other words, a data type that can hold multiple value. And then we also explain some of the manipulation functions, which we can also refer to as method. Remember, I explained all that. You can refer to them as method. And if you can remember, I said method are manipulative functions. In other words, they are units or pieces of functions that enable us to manipulate an existing list. So under which we talk about appending, that is how to add. And then we talk about the extent when adding multiple value to an existing Python list. And then we'll talk about how to remove an item from the list. And then we'll also talk about how to use, that is to use the pop, which is used to remove element based on its index. Remember, we have explained in detail what indexing is all about in Python. All right, of which I've explained to us that indexing means using the numerical positioning of an element to access it or to represent it in an array. So we also talk about sort. How do we sort item within lists? We talk about counts, and we also use the index function, and this is exactly where we stop. I think the last command we ran was a command that exposed us to the list of functions that can be used to manipulate Python lists, right? Which outputted the whole of this. So we are going to start with the dictionary. I think that was the topic that I started before we had that network issue. But before that, I'll open the line for like 3 minutes to get a feedback from us if there is any aspects that is not clear to you regarding to the previous lecture before we proceed. And also to confirm how many of us, though I did that in that class, I think a couple of us replied. I think I have about 3 to 4 persons that submitted the assignment. What I would still like to ask, do we have any question from what we have discussed, particularly under the advanced data structure, before we proceed? Okay, so I will assume there's no question, and I hope you guys can still hear me. Can I confirm for one person? Uchendu Clement, can you hear me? Let me confirm.
Yes.
Okay, so let me assume that you have all heard me clearly, so I will assume there's no question, so we can dive in. So tonight, we are looking at the second advanced data structure, which is one of the most used when it comes to application development. And I will advise each and every one of us to always join sessions like this with our writing material, at least to note down important points. And I want to give this information to us because I believe we still have some of our loved ones, our friends that are looking forward to have this kind of opportunity to learn skills like this. Before now, I have a physical company where I act as an instructor, but by the grace of God, I'll be retiring from that company by this month ending. So which means that from August, we are going to be having sessions in the morning. We are going to be having sessions in the afternoon and also evening. So by then, I will consult this class if we can increase the number of days we will discuss, like I've told us before. So I'll be fully on ground on this platform. So there's going to be sessions where I'll be coming live. People in data analytics can join, people in Python can join, just for interaction, to throw in questions and for clarity outside our main lecture days for those that could be facing one or two challenges before live training like this. So please, we have a teenagers coding session that is going to start, I think this Saturday or next one. We have students who have already registered in there. And this particular session, they are going to learn not just Python, they are learning HTML, they are learning CSS together with Python. Now, it is not only for kids, adults that can accept the learning method of the kids or teenagers can as well join. It's just that the adult fee will be different. But for a teenager and kids, they are paying just 10,000 naira for 6-week intensive training on Python programming, HTML, and CSS. So I just feel, let me give us this information because I know we have people around us that can take advantage of this window to get these quality test skills. So in case you have anyone, you can just refer us to them. So just send my number to them at 07069665919. So just tell them to WhatsApp me. And then if you are the one recommending anybody, let us know. Let us know, please, so that we'll know where the person is coming from. Thank you very much. All right. So, okay. Now let's dive in. Like I said, we want to continue from Python advanced data structure or data type. We are going to be looking at a dictionary. We are looking at dictionary. So I started it the other time, but I don't want to assume that we got it. So we want to look at dictionary data type. Please feel free to use the reaction button in case you want to ask question. I believe you should all know how to use that. Or better still, you can unmute yourself and start talking. Once I start hearing a voice, I will know that my attention is needed. All right, so let's start with dictionary. So I'm going to start with the definition. What is a dictionary? What is a dictionary? So we can define dictionary as an inbuilt Python data structure used to store data in key value pair. Let me write it. You can say a dictionary. Let me use capital letters so that it will be more visible to us. Dictionary is a built in a Python data structure. A built-in Python data structure. So I'm breaking it so that we can see everything. Which is used to store data in key. So this is the keyword. So anybody that understands dictionary must understand the structure that is like 2 in 1. All right. So I'm still going to break down the responsibility of these two aspects that forms a dictionary word structure. I'm just going to break it down. But let me just conclude the definition first. All right. So key value pairs, key value pairs, key value pairs. All right. So each note, this is just like additional notes that we need to add just for proper understanding. So each of the key, or let's say each key is a unique, or each key is what? Unique. So we need to get this right. And is used to access its corresponding value. Used to access its corresponding value. Corresponding what? Value. Now, let me break it down here. I think I should be done with the entire definition, because once you understand these theoretical aspects, you see that the practical aspects will be, easier for you to cope with. So, dictionaries are mutable. This is a fact that you must know. So as you are learning all this data structure, we need to know those ones that permit changes and the ones that once they are created, you cannot alter them. So we need to know. So when we say a dictionary in Python, dictionary is mutable. What we are simply saying is that what, which means that what, meaning you can add, that is what it means. We can add, we can update. So we're going to see all this playing out. So you know the difference between adding and updating. You can add, update, you can also what? Remove. And then of course, items. So we need to understand that after they have been created. So let's take it bit by bit. Let's start with the first line that says dictionary is a built-in Python data structure used to store data in key value pair. Now, the key here could represent a variable with its own value stored inside it. So that is why logically we can define dictionary as the collection of variables and their respective values. Is anybody following? Let me get a response, or let me get a reaction, whichever way, or use the message session if you are following.
Yes.
Okay. So we need to understand that. So there are many applications that are designed today with these concepts in order to make the program, response speed faster. Because the idea is that if, for example, INEC want to capture a voter information, the voter is going to provide basic biodata like first name, middle name, last name, states, and local government, and the rest. That alone will have consumed up to 5 to 6 storage allocation. So you cannot say the modern apps, you cannot see the reason why they appear to be faster in terms of responding to what users command or instruction, because instead of multiplying or duplicating or creating too many variables, just because a programmer wants to hold certain value that will be required during his programming, the person cannot wrap all those information in one variable, which cannot be what? Dictionary. Now, the difference between lists and dictionary is that lists uses what? This bracket. While dictionary uses what? The coiling what? The bracket. We need to understand. Even as we are learning them, let's take note of their syntax. Remember, I always advise that in programming, one of the secrets of prospering in programming is that as you are learning, make sure that you understand the structure, the set of rules that govern a function that you are using. All right? Because if you use the wrong syntax, you are about to get what? Errors. So let's take note of the bracket we are using under each of these advanced data types. So this, we use the coiling bracket for dictionary. All right. So, and I went further to say each of these words are key, they are unique, and they are used to assess its corresponding value. So which means that if INEC, for example, has captured your data before, and then it now occurs to you that you made a mistake, and that is why you see them saying, apply for a change of name or change of course. So a programmer like you and I should know what is going to happen. So while you are applying, it's like you are legally permitting them to alter your dictionary. What they are going to do is to call your dictionary from that application. Then your dictionary will bring out all your details. That particular one you have authorized them to change. They will edit it. They will use update function or use add function, and then it will be corrected automatically. So let's quickly look at the syntax. Remember I said we should always pay attention to what? To syntax. So syntax means what? Set of rules that govern, that tells us as programmer how we are to write the code. All right. So what is the syntax? So I'm going to give us let's say the schematic of the syntax first before we apply it. So we have to start by naming the dictionary. So the syntax, we have to start by saying dictionary underscore. I'm just giving the structure. Underscore name, then equals to, and then remember I said this is the bracket we are using. Then I can what? Expand it, can expand this, and then inside it, now you are going to start by declaring the key, which now represents the variable. And the key should be declared as a string. All the way from basic, you know what is called string. So if it is a string, then it must be in the what? The quote, either single or double. So for example, we say this is key 1, and then the separation between the key and the value should be column. And then this is where you now follow that same principle of storing data in variable. So if the value that is going into a key is a number, you don't quote it. If the value that is going into a key is a text, you quote it also, just like the way you quoted the key. Now, the value, so let's say this is value value 1. All right. Then you put a comma. You can decide to write everything in one line, but for formatting purpose, I will just go to the next line. Formatting purpose, I will just go to the next line. So I'll come here and say key, just for us to get the structure for the sake of those that are writing. Then I will say what? Value 2, value 2. All right. And then I'll put a comma. So that is how you continue. Key 3, value 3, key 4, value 4, and so on. Now, when you get to the last one like this, if I want to stop here, there will be comma after that one. Now, let's look at a task given to us here. So let's say, for example, we are asked as programmer to create dictionary for students. That is, we want to create a container, one container that can hold everything about a particular student. So let's say create, this is a task 1. Task 1, we are to create a dictionary to store students' bio data. Let's assume. So, if you look at the syntax, so I'm going to say the dictionary name is students. Always learn to use name, descriptive name that suggests the purpose is very, very important. So as soon as I say student, oh, this is a container holding what? Student information. Then equals to, then you open the what? The curly bracket. All right, so I can open it up first because it's a container, and then I'll start declaring the value inside. So the key one here would be the first name of the student. Let's say first underscore name. So if I'm using camel case underscore name, then remember the syntax, you bring in your colon, then the name is a string. So I'll put it to the string. Let's say what? Prosper. All right. So remember what I said, you put a comma here, go down, another dictionary, another key. Let's say age of this person, and then age is a number, so you can see that I did not quote it. So I'll put a comma. So I still want to get more information about this person. But remember that if it is admin you have built the GUI, that is what? Graphical user interface, right? It is like you are going to use like a form. So it is form that will be submitting all this into the dictionary, because they are not going to be able to impute them like this. But then you would, like, if you go to like all this open now, you know, there would have been a form that you are entering. So that form that you are entering is attached to the dictionary. So as soon as you submit, the details automatically will be structured like this. All right. So for those that will follow us to the advanced, we'll get to learn all that. Now, the next one is, let's say I want to specify the state of this person, the state, and then also the state is a string, which could be, let's say what, Lagos. I put comma, so let me create one more. Let's say country. Country is still a string. Let's say Nigeria. All right. I hope we are still following. Can I get a response from one person, not Clement? Another person, please. Let us be quick about that, just to encourage me to know if you are following.
Yes. Yes, so. Yes, so.
Thank you. All right. So now that I've created the dictionary, now, obviously, I did not use the whole space. So let me see if I can delete some space. Okay, so now the next thing we need to learn is how do we output? How do we display our dictionary? How to what? Output. we need to understand that. How to output a dictionary. Whether we say how to output or how to access dictionary value. How do we do that? How do we do that? Right? So now remember I told us some time ago that under basic Python, we talk about an output function. That anytime you want to display anything on the screen, you have to use the print command, right? So which means if I want to display the dictionary, all the values in the dictionary, if we want to call all the values in the dictionary, we are going to simply say print. We are going to simply say print, then followed by the name of what? The dictionary. So if I run this code, I should be able to get what? The dictionary what? Information. So you can see it here. First name, both the key, it returns both the key and the values of the dictionary. All right. So now I am going to give us few minutes, let's say 5 minutes. And what you are going to do for me is to create a dictionary. All right, to create a dictionary. So this is going to be classwork, and I'm giving us just 10 minutes to complete it. If I have 1 or 2 persons that are able to finish it within that 10 minutes, and then we will proceed from there. So make sure that you are among the 2 people to confirm it. So what is your classwork now? Your classwork is that classwork is to create a dictionary, create a dictionary, to create a dictionary to capture student registration information. So you will tell us, if you are to register in a school, what are those information that, let's say, you want to register for, maybe want to register in a school for a particular training, what awards, the age, the course the person is doing, and all of that. So you just determine what you want to capture. So we'll be back in the next 10 minutes. So I hope we should be coding right now. We are going on the Mr. Femi, you sent a share request. I think you can go ahead and share your screen. Let's see what you have achieved so far. Please, I encourage everybody to participate in the class assignment like this. It's very important, please. Okay, I'm encouraged with this. Good work, Mr. Femi. So I think, Femi, you have also printed, which means I've confirmed one person already. Mr. Clement, you should be almost done now. Do I have any other person who is working? If I have a lot of persons here. I expected us to be working.
Yes, I have not finished because I have problem with my laptop, so I was trying to fix it.
Okay, okay. All right, so let's continue then. Perhaps your own is ready. Please kindly notify me so that we can allow you to share your screen and show us as well. So let's proceed. Mr. Femi, you can stop sharing. Thank you. Let's proceed. Let's proceed. So now we want to look at, now if you check this particular code that we ran here, we are able to access all the values within our dictionary. So like I was telling us the other time that supposing this particular electorate has submitted his or her value into INEC portal, for example, and the person has applied for, it could be jam, the person have applied for change of name. So we want to know the name that has been submitted. So which means that we are interested in calling out only the first name. We are not interested in printing the entire word information. And that is taking us to how to access a specific value within a dictionary with its own key. Remember, we have mentioned it before. So let me put it down, how to access dictionary specific value using its key instead of printing all. For example, let's say print only students first name. Let's assume print only students first name from that dictionary called student. So how do we go about it? So we are going to simply say print, and then we will now reference the name of the container where you have a key holding that first name. Then we must understand the key. So once we call the key, we should be able to access what? The name. So let's call the name of the dictionary first, students. That is the name of the dictionary. Now here, you are now using a square bracket because out of all the values within that student dictionary, you want to access one. That is why we are using the square brackets to select from students. We want to select. Then what you want to select, you supply the name of that key as a string. For example, I want to access what? The first name. So let me copy it first like this. Control C. And then what I'm saying is that it shouldn't be pasted like this. It's not going to work. You can see that Python has already notified you that there's an error. So the best thing you could have done is this. You acknowledge it as a string, which means you put it inside what? The code. And then before you paste it. So with this, Python will print only the word, the name in that particular word key. Can I get a response if that is clear to someone? I hope the explanation is clear. Right, thank you, Shiwebo. All right, so now that is that. So I can as well say, okay, let's print another. Let's say I want to print the person's age. So I'm going to say print also for us to understand it more. Print students, and then select from students age. Select from student age. So if I run it, then I should get only the person's what? Age outputted. All right. Now, this is using, this is like you are using a logical system. But we have Python inbuilt function that can actually help us to achieve this. So that is going to take us to Python dictionary manipulation function. Python dictionary manipulation function. So like I told us, in case you are not getting it and you want to ask questions, feel free to use the react button or just unmute and start talking. So once I hear any sound or anybody speaking, I will know you need my attention. Please, if none of this sign comes in, I will assume we are all doing well. Okay? So let's look at Python dictionary. Python dictionary words. Manipulation functions. Python dictionary manipulation functions. All right. So how do we generally describe this set of functions? So these, okay, Mr. Clement, I believe you have a question. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, my question is, in this print now, which bracket are you using? Now we are dealing with dictionary. In print now, is it the normal bracket or using coiling brackets when
No,
you
it's
say
the normal
print?
bracket.
Because I'm
It's
not
the
seeing it
normal
clearly.
bracket.
My laptop is misbehaving.
I understand. At least for you to ask that, it means you are not seeing my screen clearly. Is square bracket, is square, sorry, normal bracket, normal function bracket, not coiling bracket. I hope you have gotten that, sir.
Normal brackets.
Yes, normal bracket. Yes. Are we good? Can I proceed now? Clement, hope you are good with that. Okay, I should assume you are good. Okay, so now we want to look at, I was trying to explain this concept. You know, we had this concept when we were dealing with lists. And when I started looking at dictionary, remember there was a note I gave to us that dictionary are mutable data structure, which means that we can add, we can update, we can remove. So now we want to look at the functions that can help us to what? To perform all this manipulation. Supposing I want to access a value within my dictionary. So there is a function that can be used to get it instead of using that logical system. Okay, Mr. Clement, you have another question, or you see the previous reaction? Mr. Clement? Okay, let me assume that is the previous reaction. Okay, so like I was saying, so we want to look at, let's see how, so the same thing that we did now, how to access dictionary value. So now we are using a known function, because that is what we say we want to look at, which is called gets. So we are going to use this function. So where you don't want to use this logic, this is like a logical method, because you cannot refer to this square bracket as a known function. So there is a function that can help us to get value. For example, if I want to get each, let's say get each value. Let's want to get each value, for example, right? Get each value. So I'm going to say print, I am going to say print student. So I'm going to say print students. I hope we are following. Print student. And then after that, I am going to reference the function itself, which is the what they get. I'm going to reference the function. So what I will simply do is to say get, but here we are going to concatenate it. Are we together? We are going to concatenate. Now, should in case you do not know what is called concatenation, I've used it before. It means that you are joining two things together. It means that the last item is depending on the first item. So in this case, we are going to concatenate the get function. We are going to attach it to what? To the dictionary name, because we want it to do something for us in that dictionary. So the way you are going to communicate it as a programmer is for you to say what? Dot, gets. So it's a function. You can say it says what? Save and what? Value. So in this case, what are we getting? We take it as a string. You can see it now. We are no longer using the square bracket now. Get. We want to get what? Age. So it's either you go this way using this logical method, or you use the Python what? Get function. So let's see how it's going to return the age. You can see it now. So it now depends on you. It's either you rely on using the known function or you use the logic method. Please, I would like to get a response at least from one person, just to confirm if my audio is still clear and also we are following. Let's do that very fast.
Yes, so
Okay.
yes, so
All
we
right.
can hear you clearly.
All right. All right. Thank you. So now let's proceed. Let's proceed. So the next task is how to add new item to dictionary, because we said dictionary is mutable. So adding new item. Those that are not practicing, you can at the same time you can be making your notes. So what? To Python, or let's say Python dictionary. So for example, you see, there's something I want us to understand here. In programming, we have what we call soft coding and hard coding. Soft coding is where you are using, the soft method to manipulate stuff. Like now, that is what we want to do now. So if not that we want to adopt the soft coding method, what we are saying is that we should have gone back to where we declare the dictionary and manually add that item and start updating the entire code again. But with the help of this manipulation function, we can we can add. All right, so which means you are increasing the number of elements within that dictionary. Okay, so now in that case, the syntax is going to be this. Let's say the syntax, the way you are going to do it is that, you see, it just like we are saying that we have a container like this, and we have added 2 or more items inside it. Now, you are saying that you want to add more to this container. I would like somebody to unmute and respond to this question as soon as possible. Let's assume you want to add something to this container. Do you think that we should call this container before adding that stuff inside? I need a smart person. Just quickly unmute and tell me. Do you think it's necessary to call this container before adding the new item, or we can add the new item to it without calling it? Please, I
Yes,
need a
now.
quick response.
Yes.
Good, good. So now that
I
is
said
what
yes.
good. So that is what I'm going to demonstrate now. So which means that I am going to start by saying students. That is, I'm calling the container because I want to add an item into it. Then I will now use the square bracket. All right, and then I'll specify what I'm adding. Now let's assume I'm adding the email of this person. Initially the email was not captured. So this is what happened when somebody filled a form and he forgot to submit a particular information. And now he comes back and say, I want to add my email to the database. So this is what the programmer is going to do, is by calling the container that is holding the previous information, and then from there. So what are we adding? We are adding email. We are adding email. For example, we are adding email to this. Then I'll say equals to. All right. Then that particular, now that email is like the key. Then the value comes after the what? The assignment operator. Remember, we have considered operator, which means this is not equality. This is to say that you are assigning an email to a key called what? Email. So it's a string. For that, I'll put it here. So I can just say Mary at what? At gmail.com. Mary at what? gmail.com. Now, it means that if you run this code like this, in as much we are not getting any error, we are in line with the structure, with the syntax. So what has happened right now is that if we want to see the result, we have to reprint student dictionary and see whether this particular information has been added. So how do we do that? We print everything. We print everything. So I'll just say print students, because I just want to see everything and know if the email is included. So let's see. Perfect. So you can see that we have been able to add another key called email, and we have been able to throw in a value called email. Please, can I get a response if we are following? I'm a bit fast because it's a class that we ought to have completed last week. but I just want to make sure that I fill the gap. So it's not as if it's going to be fast like this. Okay, so thank you very much. I think somebody has indicated we are following. All right, so now we are going to look at how do we now update item. Updating is different from adding. Updating is where somebody has submitted an email or a particular age. Now, what the person submitted is what you want to change. We are not adding. So that is updating. So let's quickly look at that. How to update. How to update what? Dictionary. All right. So we can say that, okay, as a task given to us, as a task given to you as a programmer, I can say update age to what? 24. Maybe remember that our age there right now is what? 90. But we are asked to change it to what? 24. So how do we do that? The same structure. We are going to grab the container, then we talk to what is inside the container. So how are we going to achieve that? We are going to say students, call back the name of what? The container, right? Then we will now select the key and then we'll pass in the new value. So by the time you commit this code, it will override the old one. So by the time we print the student again, you should be able to see 24 there. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'll select from students, select, so just like you are calling back what is already in. We are calling what? Age. And then when you get age, we are able to grab age, add assign what? 24. So if I run this code and I do not get error, it means everything is what? Working perfectly. Now, if I want to see the outcome, I will now print again. So I will say, okay, let me print the student again and see what I have there. Print students, print students. So let's check what we have there. So you see that what? When you output the information, you can see go to age because that is what you updated. You can see that this Vanguard that we see have the previous one 90 here. Then you can see that we have successfully updated. Any question, please? Any question? Hope that is clear. Can I get a response whether we are still following? Please, okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right, so that is how to update. Now let's look at how to remove item. We are still on Python dictionary manipulation function. So let's quickly look at how to what? Remove. How to remove dictionary item. How to remove dictionary item. So what is the task given to us here? The task is, let's say as a programmer, you are given this task. Remove what? Age. Oh, sorry. Let's say remove what? Age from the dictionary. Remove age. Now, there is a function we are using here to remove. We are using what we call what? Pop. That is the function we are using. So how are we going to communicate that as programmer? So we are going to also grab the student dictionary, and then we will now concatenate the function pop to it. Then you specify what you want to remove by calling the key. So I want to take off the email that we put there. Don't know how I type the email. Let me check it here. Okay, the key is capital letter. Now, you know that once you remove the key, the value is equally removed, right? So I want to remove that. So what I'm going to do, I'll run this code. If I don't get error, at least everything is good. Now, let us print again to confirm if we still have the email there. So I'll just print the students again. So after this, I'm going to give us another 10 minutes to practice what we have done. So when you look at this now, you can see that what email has disappeared. All right, please let me get a response if we are following. Let me just conclude all the functions under dictionary so that once we come back from the short break, we'll take another data type if possible. Any question, please? Because we want to look at the next one. Any question? Any question? Any question? Quickly, quickly, quickly. I want response from different people. Please, let's make it interactive. If you cannot speak probably based on where you are, you can always use the message section. All right, so let me assume all is good. So let me just look at the next one. The next one is how to delete item, how to delete item from what? Dictionary. How to delete item from dictionary. How to delete item from dictionary, right? So here we are also using a function called del. So take note of that. It means delete. We are using a function. So what is the syntax? The syntax here is that we are going to simply say del. Look at the syntax. It's a bit different from other ones. Del, you call the name of the dictionary, and then you use the square bracket to select the particular item you want to remove from the dictionary. You use the key, not the value. Use the key, which is like the variable name. All right. So what are we deleting? Let's delete H. Let's delete H. So if you run it, you do not get error. It means all is well of it. So if you want to confirm, let's print the dictionary again and see if we still have the item we deleted there. So you can see that. So you can see that H has gone. So take note of the syntax. So you can see that this one we declare the function first before calling the dictionary. While the other one we were concatenating the function on top of what? The dictionary. All right. So I just want to continue. I just want to complete this aspect so that once we return, we should be going into another data structure. But you see these ones that I have covered, list and dictionary, they are the major ones. All right. So other ones are not going to give us issue at all. So the next one I want to talk about is how to what? Let's say how to, what did I say I want to look at now? How to remove everything. How to remove everything. How to remove everything. Not just one. How to remove everything. That is like all elements all elements from Python dictionary. All elements from Python dictionary. Let's how do we remove everything. Now, the function we are going to use here is clear. We are going to use this function clear. We're going to use this function clear. Right? So how do we write it? Remember, after this, we are not going to see them again, except to create another dictionary to work with. All right. So the syntax is going to be, you are going to call the dictionary back, then you concatenate what? Clear. You concatenate what? Clear. You can see that it does not have object, just simply have self, which means you are not putting anything inside. It doesn't receive value. That is what it means. Right? So it knows what to do. So if you run this code now, you see that what? No error, it means we are good. Now let's print whether it will have put anything. Let's print the dictionary again, just to be sure. So this is what a programmer do when they want to remove someone's details from their database. Maybe customers that are dormant, when like INEC now, you know, when some people have died and they want to do a cleanup on their database and they are able to identify them. So they can just write this code, everything about that person gone from their database. So let's just print it and say student again. Sorry, my print spelling is not correct. So you see what happened? It returned empty dictionary, which means that we no longer have anything inside it. We no longer have anything inside it. So any question so far? Any question, please? Any question? Any question? Any question? Any question? I see have few things. So I'm going to create another dictionary now. So let's say students, since we have cleared that, let's say this one, I'm adding S to make it different from the other one. I'm adding S and let me open it up for formatting purpose. So let's say a name. Let's say name. Just want to use it to explain the few things remaining under dictionary. Where class let's see data country Nigeria. All right. So now, okay, Mr. Somebody have question. Go ahead and ask your
Yes.
question.
In this dictionary, how do you get this single like this sign or like looks like bracket? Because I tried doing it, it's showing me double, and when I try to remove one, it will be showing red. How do you
Which
get the
of the
single?
bracket?
Maybe
Which of
as you
this?
put, yeah, that
Which
one,
of
that single
this one?
after students, you assign the sign there. That single like single bracket, not up, just where you give wrote students. Then
Okay, this one. This is
yeah,
equals
that
to now.
single one. How do you get it?
That is the equal
Not
sign
equals to.
or
I know the other one here.
the calling bracket, have you?
After yes, how do you get the single one?
Okay, the single one. Wait. I want to understand what you are saying. Is it this sign that you are talking
Yeah,
about?
that's single now.
Is it this one?
Yes, that's the
The
sign. The
single.
first one.
Okay, the single one, Abi. The single one. You press that
Yes,
button. You press
yes.
that button, but you not hold that shift key. Where
Yeah, because
we press shift and where you have that icon very close to enter. That will
I
give you two. But if you
yes.
press only that button without adding shift, it will give you the single one. Is that not what
Hmm.
you're asking? To try it.
Yeah, is what I'm asking because I've tried it many times. It's showing me just one side.
So just check it. Probably you are not really
It's
sure.
okay. I will still try.
Okay. So now, like I said, if we print, let's print the student. Let's be sure that they are already in. Okay, so we have the item return. Now, I want to explain a few things remaining under this using the second dictionary. So now, let's say we want to display all values, not the dictionary key. It's just their values that we want to see. So let me put it in writing, how to display all the, please mute yourself back, Mr. I think I've done that here. How to display all the dictionary values. All right, only the values. For example, now I want to display Aguero here. You shouldn't show us the name. I want to display 12. Shouldn't show us the key. That is what we want to use. Using value function. The function. So here we are using, using value. Value what? Function. Using value function. All right. Now, the syntax is this. We are going to also call the name of the dictionary. Then we will concatenate values. Values. You can see that once you see anyone that says self, you are not, if it doesn't have objects, I don't know if anybody get that. What you are trying to, that is if you are using advanced IDE like PyCharm, if you are using other interface, you may not see this. Once it does not say self, comma, object, it means that you are not meant to put anything inside the brackets, just like that clear. So it knows what to do. That is what it's saying. So if I may just complete it. So if I run this now, if I run this, let's print again so that we can get the update. So if I print, in fact, the way I'm going to put it is this. So I'm going to simply say print so that we get, as we are running it, then we'll just get what the information at once. Print student dot values. Print student dot values so that we can get the information at the same time. So you can see what happened. It returned the dictionary value and tell you what only the value. This is Aguero here. This is 12 here. This is. I hope that is clear. I think is that okay? Victor, I hope you are following. The other persons that are not talking, please, I would like to hear from you guys. I need to be sure if we are actually following the class. You can use the reaction
Yes,
button.
we are following. I'm following.
Okay. Okay. So that is for that. Now that we have displayed only the value, now we want to display only the what? The items. We want to display only the items. So there's another way we can do that. Let's say how to display dictionary items. Item. So here we are using these are functions that you need to know. Using item function. Using item function. There should be S. Item function. So if the syntax, I would say students or the dictionary name, then concatenate it with what? Item. So I would like somebody to tell us, you can see this is 7. Do we need to put anything here? Somebody should quickly unmute and tell me whether we are to put anything inside this bracket.
No, no.
So now let's wrap it and print it at once. Control S. Let's print so that we'll get the results instead of running it before print. So let me paste this inside. So if I run this now, look at it. What do you have? You can see how it printed dictionary item, right? Look at the way the syntax is different. It prints out everything the way it is, but they are in different brackets. You check it. So it returns both the key and the value, but the structure is different from the original structure. This was the original structure. But what happened here now? It printed this one name. Remember that it printed this name and its own, a separate one, class and its own value, separate. That is the meaning of that item. I hope you are following. So the last, for the second to the last, before we end, everything I've really expatiated on dictionary, almost touching everything, all the functions that we have there, because I know how important it is when you start developing application. That is why I'm taking my time to explain all the associated functions. Now, let's look at this. Let's say we want to copy. We want to copy, right? We want to copy the item. For example, maybe you want to tamper with, just like we deleted the dictionary values the other time. Now you want to quickly save them in another dictionary as a backup. So let's see how to copy dictionary items and hold them in a new dictionary. That is the idea. So I'll just say new underscore. So this is a new container that is receiving what we have is students. Underscore new students. Let's say, for example, new students. Then I'm going to say equals to. All right. So the emphasis here is that we are looking at what? Copy function. That is what we want to learn now. How do we use the copy item within Python? So I can say, okay, what are you copying and putting inside the new dictionary? Students. All the values I have here, I want them to be moved to what, or have a copy of it inside. So you can see that it's also set, which means we don't need to put anything inside the bracket. So if I print this now, if I run this and I do not get error, we are good. So now let me print new and see whether it will output the values we have in students. That is how we confirm that the copy takes place actually. So let's see, you see that what? It return what? The values you have in that other dictionary, which means you have successfully copied. If you print that student, you still have the same value. So the last one is, how do we count how many items are in a dictionary? How do we count how many items are in a dictionary? And then the emphasis, we are focusing on another function called len, which means length, right? How to count dictionary words, items. Just a second. All right, I hope we are still here. Please let me confirm from somebody. Sorry.
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. So we're looking at the last as how to count dictionary item. And the emphasis here using a function called what? Len. At the beginning of this training, we must have talked about this function called len. So we want you to count, unless you want to even know the total number of items in a dictionary you created. So the syntax is going to be, you call, okay, let me print it because I would like to see the results. So I'll say, okay, print, then we call the len function. The len function, as you can see, it has object, which means that what? It must receive something, all right? Now, what is it receiving? The name of that dictionary that you want to count its item. So if I run this code, it should be able to tell me how many items are there. You can see it outputted, we have 4 items. All right, so an assignment here is, make sure you write it down. And this assignment should be submitted via the group you are in. All right, so just please, what I would like those that are submitting assignment to be submitting the assignment via that group. I believe we are allowed to write message there, right? I hope
Which group did you put us? We don't know.
You are in a group where I normally drop the link now. Are you not in the group? How did you go?
Okay.
So though I will still drop the link to our main community group, the group that all our students are in, whether Python, that one that you are, is only those of you that register for Python that are there. So there are times we give general information via that main group without remembering other groups. So maybe after this class, I will drop the link of that one. It's our default group. So we must always give details there. So, but that one that you are in, that other one that I will send the link. If you enter there, you will not be able to talk because it's only the admin, just to ensure, because we have people that have not registered there. So we assume that we don't know everybody there. So to secure everybody, we programmed it on admin can, only admin can write message, but you get information. But this very one that you are in, whenever you are submitting your assignments, submit them through that place. Put your name. For example, Clement, this is my assignment. So this assignment, one, I want every one of us to do it and submit it there, right? I think it's only one person that I know that is not in that group, which is Victor. So I will see if I can add him there also. So this is your classwork that if you are able to do it, that will summarize some of these things that we have done. So what is the assignment? So your assignment is create a dictionary. Create a dictionary for an employee. Containing number one, employee's ID. Employee's ID, comma, name, comma, department, comma, salary, comma. So once we have done this is the first part, to run it. Then let's say part 2. Let me see if I can push it to be easier for you to understand. Let's say part 2. Then add email. We are not creating it together with the email. After you have created it, then you add these headers. Then add email. That is part 2. Part 3. Part 3, update salary. Update salary. So you have initial salary when it was created, then you update the salary, then part 4, remove departments. So I'll see you're working. Departments. So your code writing should tell me where you have everything, where you run a code to remove and all of that. I should see the history of your work. Then the second one is the next part is display all key. This should be part 5. So if you are able to go through this will touch most of the things you have done. Display all keys. Display all keys. Then part 6. Part 6. Display all values. Display all values. Okay, so I think I'm going to stop here because we have really covered enough so that we don't get confused. Let's go and digest this. The next class we'll be looking at Python tuple sets, and that will bring us to the end of this multi-structure. Then we still have some few functions that we will play around with after concluding this session. Then please let's go and work on this, because even if I start any other topic now, I cannot guarantee us that we can finish it, and I don't want to rush it. So let's go and deal with, for those that have not practiced lists, they should start their practice from Python list down to dictionary, all these functions that we have probably analyzed. Make sure that you work on that. So so just in case you come across this video, this is reaching you live from Digitech Hub. Digitech Hub, this is one online platform where we teach students text programs live via Zoom, just like you are watching or you have watched. Some of the programs we train on these platforms are cybersecurity. Every Monday, cybersecurity session. Tomorrow evening by 8 p.m., I will also be live on cybersecurity. Cybersecurity classes hold every Monday and Wednesday, twice in a week. They will also have data analytics session that holds every Friday and Saturday within the hour of 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Then we have another data analytics session that holds every Saturday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Now we have the keys/themes coding using Python, HTML, and CSS starting probably this weekend or upper weekend. And it's going to run for 6 weeks. And then what you need to pay to join that class, if you fall under the category of kids between the age of 8 to 15, is just 10,000 for the first 20 persons. And after that, the rest will pay 20,000. So if you have anyone that you feel like should connect, this is a holiday customized program which is designed to empower student creativity, problem-solving ability. We believe that after that training, and the good part of it is that we understand that majority of them are not exposed to computers. So the first 2 classes will be to familiarize them with the computer itself, which is like extra. That is, they are going to learn computer appreciation for the first 2 classes before we take them into the coding or programming properly. So if you are in that our group, we are going to reel out different programs. Like I told us when we started, that this platform will start offering training in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening, starting from the month of August 2026. And there will be a dedicated time just for interaction, and then it will be announced in the group. Those that are in cybersecurity class, data analytics class, everybody can converge and ask their question, which is going to be different from the regular training time. So please feel free to make inquiry. If you want to reach out to us, you can reach out to us. Just WhatsApp me directly via 070. Let me make it in case you are contacting us from different parts of the world. So just contact us via +234 70 69 66 5919. You want to contact us via our YouTube, just go to, I know some of us are here, you have not subscribed to our YouTube page. A lot of updates going on there. We have, I think our video there, they are pushing 500 master classes that is uploaded. I believe that will be a resourceful center when it comes to researching on tech. So you can check us out on YouTube as Digitech Zeal. So make sure that you subscribe so that you can get updates. You can use this also to contact us via TikTok. All you need is just to put dots in between. After Digitech, you put .zeal.org. That you can also follow me on my personal Facebook, where I give updates regarding to upcoming program, and sometimes I add free video link there for you to watch on different programs. Just search for Eguero Prosper. You should be able to see me there. And then on the Instagram, we're also there. Just search for Digitech Zeal. And then which other platform? You can check us out on our website. Just go to www.digitech. It's our website address, digitech.com.ng, so that you can reach out to us via our WhatsApp. So for those that will be able to visit the WhatsApp tonight, there is a link, sorry, the website, there is a link there, WhatsApp, you just click on it, take you to that page that I talked about. So that will take you directly to the main page where we have other like-minded individuals. So thank you very much. Please, I hope you understand the assignment. Can I get a response, please, before we close the class? Hope you understand the assignment, please.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So please, thank you. Thank you. So good night. Joe, we'll get the video across to us probably tomorrow morning.